Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's forecast. Today, we'll be talking about a few different weather systems that are coming into the plains and the United States, bringing severe weather, rainfall, and much more. And I want to talk a little bit about my predictions for the winter, for a late fall into the winter. But for now, let's stay focused on this forecast. And immediately, what you could probably notice is this low pressure system bringing in some moderately strong jet stream winds into the plains. This has been lingering around for a few days now, and we'll continue seeing it for another couple days. This is the reason why there was a tornado out in southeastern Utah down here, and I do think it went into Colorado. And it was all because of this system that came by and brought some severe weather out there. And it will continue bringing some severe weather for another day or two. And it's going to kind of swing up north, going back into Canada. And for maybe a couple days, we'll see some more quiet weather after that system leaves. But going into around midweek next week, or mid to late next week, the northeast may get some rain and showers from this system up here, swinging in from Canada, and a little kind of a weird dual action going on here with two different low pressure systems here in the northern and central plains. And I do think we may have some rain and shower storms down in the southern plains like Kansas and Oklahoma with these weaker jet stream winds towards the end of this week on the 18th and 19th. Keeping a very close eye on that for sure. Let's go ahead and continue this on here. And as we go on into late September, we see a pretty big system. Now, this is what's been trending recently, is towards late September, we'll see a strong low pressure system up in Canada bringing down powerful jet stream winds into the northern United States. Now, we're going to be keeping an eye on this because some models and updates have brought it, swinging it down into the central and even southern plains, which would bring some severe weather. But for the time being, so far, models have been mostly keeping it up there. But now, as some models are showing this low pressure system off the California coast, this may bring some showers and thunderstorms, maybe even some severe weather to California. And so we'll be keeping a very close eye on that. And then going off even later into September, we'll see this, possibly see this absolutely massive low pressure system swinging out of the Pacific Northwest, and this could be a massive rainmaker and even cause a severe weather outbreak. But it's just way too far out to tell. It is It is a couple weeks out. But from what this model is showing, we could see an uptick in severe weather in the plains again here as we enter our second tornado season. And then as this continues on, it should get on out of here, but by the 28th, it does become a bit more linear in a way, so we could see a squall line of sorts here towards the 28th and the end of September. Keeping a very close eye on that of any system as we are approaching our second tornado season. And let's go ahead and look at temperatures here. Let's pull that up. And right now, temperatures are pretty seasonal across the plains. Actually, probably a little below average. But we do have some lingering 70s and 60s across the central and southern plains. It's going to be nice and warm. Nice, warm, cool in the mornings. But as time goes by, it's going to continuously kind of cool off at times. But some 90s will definitely continue to linger, especially across the plains. And even the Midwest, where we have a couple mid-90s as well. But, oopsies, hang on. And as we continue off into later September, we may see a cold front with one of these bigger systems. Let's go off into late September here, and you kind of see it almost continuously cools off at times in the later September. But as this big system comes by, you can clearly see it on this model. Actually, it is going to bring a big cold front that is going to create some very cold temperatures, below average temperatures for this time of year across the Great Plains and the Northwest. And I do think it is going to drop temperatures down by quite a bit for a couple days after this. But like I said, we could see a maybe a severe weather outbreak here from mid to late September across the plains. Keeping a very close eye on that. Let's go and go down to dew points. Right now, dew points are all the way up into Canada, in the Midwest, and right now it should relatively stay that way until these much bigger systems come flowing into the plains. Because with these cold fronts, with every one of these systems, it'll push down that moisture further and further south, going into mid to late September. And we can see, obviously, quite a bit of moisture across the southern plains and the upper Midwest here. So you really got to keep an eye on this in the Great Lakes, because like I said, with these really powerful systems that will be coming through, if it stays that way, then we could really see some severe weather outbreaks going on into late September. And even here, look at that swirl around the low pressure system here, and you can clearly see that cold front here as well. And if any storms fire off out here from the upper Midwest to the Great Plains, we could possibly see damaging wind, hail, or even tornadoes. But it's still way too far out to tell. And just look how this moisture gets pushed. Oopsies, hang on. This moisture just gets pushed off to the southeast by this cold front and that system. So definitely going to keep a very close eye on that. And let's go ahead and go into future radar here to get a better understanding of what's going on. And today we do have some severe weather possible for the northern plains, namely mostly the Dakotas, and some marginal and slight risks continue down into Oklahoma and Texas. There is a higher tornado risk up here in North Dakota and South Dakota. Watching that pretty closely. There's already a tornado watch in effect, actually. And going into the next few days, we do anticipate may possibly a little low pressure system out here that'll bring some rain and showers into Virginia and North Carolina. Keeping an eye on that actually as well, because it kind of has some tropical system-like characteristics to it. It's a little weird to see, but it's not going to turn into anything, but it does have some of that tropical movement with it almost. And looking towards mid-September, we see a uptick in showers and thunderstorms in the central and southern plains, and even the Midwest. And this is when our severe weather season will start to uptick just a little bit, and along with rain shower chances and just storms in general. But going off into later September, late September, and even early October, we see this massive system come up into the Great Plains, and we could see a hurricane or two out here in the Gulf that makes landfall. Not counting on that for sure, because this hurricane season has been pretty below average, I feel like. But going into late September, we will be seeing some possible snow in the Rocky Mountains with this very powerful low pressure system. And going off into September, boom, there's that kind of linear line I was talking about, and this goes from southeast South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota all the way down to Oklahoma. This needs to be watched closely. Here's the low pressure system up here, and the cold front stretches down pretty much just like this. And it's a little rough sketch. It's kind of rough, but there you go. And this is what's going to be a leading factor of bringing a possible severe weather outbreak from the North Plains all the way down to the Southern and Central Plains. Keeping a very close eye on this system, as it does appear like we could see some severe weather, maybe a linear system, maybe a couple brief weak tornadoes, damaging winds, hail, possible. But as late September approaches, I'll be keeping an eye on the system if models continue to show this. And that's pretty much it for mid to late September. Let's go ahead and go to the Storm Prediction Center. Here is today's outlook. We have a level 2 slight risk up there in North Dakota, here in Nebraska, Kansas, and the northwest Oklahoma, which does include Woodward. Keeping an eye on all these areas, especially this one up here in northern United States, as this is a higher chance for tornadoes. 5% risk for a couple tornadoes up there. Tornado watch has been issued up there as well, and I wouldn't rule out a possible tornado possible in northwestern Oklahoma just to see kind of if these storms can tap into that lower moisture. And a level 2 risk here, a 2% risk there from South Dakota down to far northern Kansas, keeping an eye on that too. Wind risk is especially up in northern United States and North Dakota and northwestern Oklahoma. And hail risk will be mostly northwestern Oklahoma and that little section in northern Kansas and southern Nebraska. Going into tomorrow, there is no severe risk as of now, but there will be some thunderstorms possible across the central plains, central southern plains, Midwest, and far northern United States. Keeping a close eye on some of these storms, especially in the more unstable, moist atmosphere in some spots for maybe some smaller hail and a damaging wind gust or two. But we'll continue watching this. Again, there's no severe risk as of now. But then going into Tuesday, we'll be seeing a marginal risk here. Oh, oops, that's a pretty bad circle. Hang on. A marginal risk here from northwestern Kansas into eastern Nebraska. Some hail, wind, maybe an isolated tornado or two. We'll be keeping a close eye on it. And let's go over to the flooding risks. We do have a level 2 slight risk today in northern or central North Dakota and central South Dakota. And a marginal risk stretching down from south Nebraska through western Oklahoma, western Texas, and probably there in far northern Mexico. And the next couple days, some marginal risks across pretty much everywhere in the Central Plains and Midwest. Keeping an eye on, again, all of this. And I hope you guys enjoy the forecast. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll make some updates in the next couple days.